So, you guys seen a Shaddoll versus Goki matchup that I'm pretty sure you were extremely excited to see the Shaddoll deck profile. How do I know? Well, let's just say that I have a hunch. So much of a hunch that I actually did the deck profile the day after of the duel, and the duel didn't get up a week before. So you guys can just say that I might be a little psychic. If for people that don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and click on this link or check in the description, and that'll take you right to that Shaddoll versus Goki matchup. Now, Shaddoll Dino is a very, very insanely powerful deck. It is one of the anti-meta decks of the format, and I think it has a really good footing, because the dinos, they have feet and they stump on the ground. It has a really good footing on how it can take over very big tier 1 decks. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, you can Shaddoll Fusion for that notification bell, because we just too strong. Also want to give a shout out to all of my Patreons. You guys are nothing less of amazing. TheCaliEffect wouldn't be TheCaliEffect without you guys, especially helping us get more equipment so you guys can have better quality videos. And if you guys want to join the Patreon and be a part of the gang, then go ahead and follow that link below in the description as well. And while we're here, I might as well just talk about my Patreon, an awesome community for everyone to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And just be a part of the TheCaliEffect community alike. But here I am rambling, talking about some Jurassic things of the past when I can be telling you guys about the future and shadowing your opponent to completely annihilate them. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive Shaddoll dinosaur deck profile. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so looking at the stats of Shaddoll Dino, this deck is extremely powerful. Its attack is off the chart. The ability to drop some really high level monsters or high attack monsters on the field and completely annihilate your opponent is amazing. It also has basically all of its bases covered. I want to say that this is a YCS level topping type deck because of how anti-meta it is, but even more importantly, it's still pretty meta in its own right. The ability to prevent the opponent from special summoning a lot of times is just what this format is predicated on. So this deck basically stops that. But not only that, if your opponent does leave with a wide open board or a board that can't stop you, this deck will and can OTK you. So I really got to say that this is a very competitive deck. We're going to start off with the monsters though, so I can deeply explain to you why this deck is so powerful. So the Dino monsters consist of 3 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This card is just great. Okay, so I was running 2 copies for quite a bit of time until I realized that more often than not, opening this card is not dead. It just isn't. Opening 2 copies, maybe not the greatest thing in the world sometimes, but opening 1 copy of this card, oh my god, no matter what, you're gonna find a way to put 2 dino monsters in the graveyard, and being able to summon this monster twice in 1 turn is just extraordinarily powerful because it can attack all your opponent's monsters at once. It can inflict damage if the monster's in defense. It can just straight send it to the graveyard, and it also disrupts your opponent's board, provided that their board isn't full of link monsters. And that's why I feel like this card is just so powerful into the metagame, because it is one of the best boss monsters available in Yu-Gi-Oh! Next, to back it up, we're going to have 2 copies of Overtex Quatlus. This card's also extremely powerful. The ability to negate spells and traps, it does come up because it is in itself a double evolution pill target. More often than not, you want to send this card to the graveyard with your Shaddoll Fusions or your Armageddon Knights or your Foolish Burials or even your Soul Eating Overiaptors to gain the effect of searching an evolution pill from your deck to your hand. It's still ultimately a powerful card in its own right. To follow up with the dinosaur monsters, we play the best level 4 dino monster in the game that isn't limited. 3 copies of Soul Eating Overiaptor. Now, this guy is so good because when he's normal summoned or special summoned, you can take a dinosaur monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or graveyard. So basically, he's an Armageddon Knight to send Quatlus to the graveyard, or you can just go ahead and search you an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, or you can search another dinosaur monster from your deck to your hand. He's just all pluses. The other effect, to destroy a monster you control, to target a dinosaur monster in your graveyard to special summon it, isn't often used, but I guess you could use it on a Quatlus on your field. Destroy the Quatlus, special summon another dinosaur, and then gain that monster's effect. I'm not 100% sure why you would do that, but I think it's pretty viable with Soul Eating Overaptor. The other builds used to use it to destroy their babies, but we don't play any babies inside of this build. Next is 1 copy of Miscellaneousaurous. This card is really busted. Basically, you can pitch it during either player's turn on the main phase, and during that phase, all of your dinosaur monsters henceforward are unaffected by card effects. So it's really powerful when your opponent makes one of those unbreakable boards with Tri-Gate Wizard and all this other stuff, and you're like, nah, I think I'm going to be able to activate my dinosaur monsters effects during this phase. So you activate this card from your hand and then summon out your dinosaur monsters, and they're excuse me, they're all protected by your monster effects. The next and most important thing is, which is pretty underrated, is that he can banish itself to spell summon a dinosaur monster from your deck up to the number of dinosaur monsters you banished, as well as this card. It actually comes up because the target for it is the Jurrac Aeolo. In my opinion, if you're playing the Miscellaneousaurous and you're not playing the Aeolo, just don't play the Miscellaneousaurous. If you're not playing, you know, a full-fledged dinosaur build. And my reasoning behind it is, let's take away the Jurrac Aeolo and let's put Miscellaneousaurous in the graveyard. I have to banish at least 3 other dinosaur monsters in my graveyard to summon another dinosaur monster in my deck. How possible is that? It's almost impossible. It literally is not possible. So why are you even playing it? Its hand effect is good, but it's not that good. So being able to special summon a free monster to your side of the field, as well as providing you some coverage on top of your dinosaur monsters, is good. Now, Jurrac Aeolo isn't as good as it used to be. We don't play like any like Synchro 5s or anything. It's actually just a really good link material monster, and it provides extra board presence. And actually in that game, the fact that I played certain cards came up a lot with this card. And then the last dinosaur we play is 1 copy of Giant Rex. Now this card is extremely powerful itself because when it's banished, you get to special summon it to your side of the field. Now it can attack your opponent directly, but it cannot. But it is a 2,000 4-star attack monster with an Earth attribute. All of those actually do come up a lot, and that's what makes it really important. Just the ability to tutor itself back to the side of the field when it's banished is just phenomenal. We do banish a lot of our dinosaur monsters. This, if you ask me, is a complete dinosaur engine inside of the Shaddoll Dinosaur build because they all interact with each other. The Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to be able to be searched by the Overreactor, which also can send Miscellaneousaurus, and interacts with Giant Rex because when it's banished, it can special summon, and the Quatlus to search the big pills, which will then special summon these guys back to your side of the field. So in my opinion, I think that this is a perfect dinosaur skeleton for the Shaddoll Dinosaur. I wouldn't change a single thing. Now there is actually, let me retract that statement. There is a card that a lot of people do play, which is Doggerin, the dog-looking kaiju that's actually looks like a Giant Rex. And he's pretty good because Soul Eating Overiaptor can search him. I decided to play the Jurrac Aeolo over here because Aeolo provides more synergy, and if your opponent gives you an Ibly, then your Doggerin's not going to do anything anyway. So that's it for the kaiju monsters. I'm sorry, for the dinosaur monsters. We do play quite a bit of Shaddoll monsters. We play 2 copies of Shaddoll Beast, 2 copies of Shaddoll Hedgehog, 1 copy of Shaddoll Dragon, and 1 copy of Squamata. This is a build or a lineup that I am extremely comfortable with. I don't mind opening my Shaddoll monsters because you guys have to keep in mind, I do run 3 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. All of these Shaddoll monsters become extremely live with Tyranno on my side of the field. I can destroy a Shaddoll Beast with Tyranno's effect, flip all my opponent's monsters face down, and then proceed to draw a card. It's nothing but advantage. Furthermore, beside opening them, I still want targets for my Shaddoll Fusions, and I do run quite a bit of fusion material and fusion monsters to summon. They all have their really good place in the game. Squamata not only can send another Shaddoll, but allows me to destroy my opponent's monsters. Dragon can return cards and destroy spells or traps. Hedgehog actually searches the fusion spell and can search any monster once it's in the graveyard. And then Beast is a graceful charity when it's flipped face up, and also just a upstart goblin when it's destroyed. I kind of wanted to run Shaddoll Falco, but I just didn't see it. Shaddoll Falco doesn't special summon a monster face up, so I can't link away with it. I have to like provide so many resources to it, so I didn't think it was really worth it. But I think that this is a really good Shaddoll core to play inside of the build. Now, lastly, we do play 1 copy of Armageddon Knight. I run 1, 2, 3, 4. I would like to run 5 normal summonable cards, but then again, when you start looking at the deck, there are a lot of monsters in your deck that you can normal summon, but those are my 4 starter cards. I wanted to run 5 starter cards, but I'm really comfortable with what we have right now. Armageddon Knight can send a dark monster, which means it can send Shaddoll Hedgehog to add another Shaddoll monster. It can send Shaddoll Beast for a draw. It can even send Overtex Quatlus to the graveyard to search your big pill. So it synergizes really well with the deck. So that's it for the playable monsters. Next, we do follow up with quite a bit of hand traps, and the reason why we play hand traps is for multiple reasons, and I'll be able to explain to you why you play them. Now, Joel and Lockbird is extremely good against the meta. This meta is built on searching, it's built on recursing, it's built on getting so many resources, and Joel and Lockbird just outright shuts them out. 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now, this card is still amazingly stupidly good, being able to shut down your opponent's searches as well. And then 2 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. This card is easily one of the better hand traps in the game now. I'm so happy that I picked them up when they were 30s, and I hope you guys did too, because it locks out so many interesting aspects of the game. Goki Rematch, Trickstar Reincarnation's Banish effect, World Legacy Succession. Just so many good cards in the game that this card does lock out. But more importantly, none of these cards destroy my opponent's monsters, which is actually why I don't play Ghost Ogre. There's two reasons. Again, like I said, Ghost Ogre destroys the monster. More often than not, I'm going to be stopping a Link monster with Ghost Ogre. No, I want that monster on the field. I want to be able to activate Shaddoll Fusion so I can send my monsters to the graveyard. And, you know, I want you to have that extra monster. Ghost Bell takes care of a situation. Ash Blossom takes care of the situation. Droll takes care of the situation. But more importantly, they leave that extra deck monster on the side of the field. If I'm hitting other cards with these, then of course you guys should already know what I'm hitting. I'm hitting spell cards that my opponent really needs to pop off with their combos. So that's it for the hand traps. Also keep in mind that all of them are non-dinos. So when you open up, let's say you don't open up too great like I did in the first game, you summon this, you send the Quatlus, you have a hand trap. The Quatlus gets the pill, so guess what? You have a hand trap in the graveyard and a pill, or in a dinosaur, and you have a pill in your hand. So that's just going to follow up with some awesome plays for you. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. I just felt really bad for running less than 6 Shaddoll monsters and 3 Shaddoll Fusion. It just didn't make any sense. This card does help you blow out your opponents, not because of the ability to fusion summon a Shaddoll, but more importantly because it allows you to send cards from your deck to the graveyard. Like, that is just invaluable for this strategy. And the reason why it's so invaluable is because you can send dinosaur monsters, you can send Quatluses, you can set up some good first turn boards if you're forced to go first, where it's like a Shaddoll Winda and a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. The Tyranno to flip all your opponent's monsters face down, and the Winda literally prevents them from special summoning, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it's really hard for your opponent to get over that situation. Decks like Goki can only special summon once, and it's 2200 natively, so it's kind of hard to beat over. The Mecha Venom Beast, the Sky Strikers, they have to open the monster. If they don't open the monster, it's not like they can afterburner the window. So that's extremely powerful. That comes up so much. And then 1 copy of Shaddoll Fusion. This card is so OTK centric, it's not even funny. As you guys seen in that game, really hope you guys saw that game. This card's just really good. Being able to fusion summon on my opponent's turn, being able to fusion summon in the battle phase, being able to fusion summon basically whenever I want is perfect for hand. 1 copy of it is exactly where it needs to be. That's it for the Shaddoll Fusions. 3 copies of Fossil Dig. This card's phenomenal. It searches, I mean, you really only have 1 genuine target. That's Soul Eating Overiaptor. I could see myself using it to search the Miscellaneousaurous, but more often than not, it's just to search into your Soul Eating Overreactor. So basically you have 6 or 7 copies of Soul Eating Overreactor in this deck. And then, of course, 3 copies of Double Evolution Pill. I don't think I would play anything less than 3. If you're playing less than 3, you're probably doing something wrong, because you can resolve this card 3 times in a game. You can resolve it 3 times in a duel. It's very possible, but more importantly, it's one of your win conditions of the deck. If you get this card to your hand and you don't need to like start sending your Quatlus to the graveyard, and you can just like play normal dinos, it's amazing. But the fact that it can special summon free dinos to your side of the field just for disrupting your opponent, on top of your disruptions keeping your monsters or your opponent's extra deck monsters on the field, it's invaluable. So we do pair that up with 2 Call by the Grave. A big problem with this deck is that this is hit by Ash, this is hit by Ash, this is hit by Ash. Like, so many cards in this deck are hit by Ash. Well, so Card by the Grave is a good replacement for ciphering your Gamma, because Gamma requires us not to have any monsters on the field. And it's just ultimately a great disruptor for so many good decks out there right now. 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. I wouldn't play any more than 2. I really wouldn't. Because there are times where you draw a hand and you don't want to banish any monsters, but, you know, Allure of Darkness will sit there. That happens when you play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. When you play that solid sweet spot at 2, you can banish those extra Shaddoll monsters that you have in your hand. You can banish that second Soul Eating Overreactor. It's just so well to help you get deeper into your combos. And then of course Monster Reborn and Foolish Burial. Just 2 really good extenders. Foolish Burial is like your 5th monster, and Monster Reborn is obviously Monster Reborn, so there you have it. That's it for the main board. Really hope you guys enjoyed those explanations. I want to say that it's in-depth. This deck is really good at stopping your opponent first or second. I don't like building decks for going first or second, but if you do go second, you're in a pretty good situation. You have your 3 Shaddoll Fusions, you have 6 hand traps, you should be okay. There's no traps in this deck for that specific reason, but we do side some good traps. Let me show you guys the extra deck though. So the extra deck consists of 1 copy of Borlo Bragan, best Link 4 in the game. I can't really make him as much as I like to, but you would have to be, I think you'd have to be a not great player not to run him, unless you can't afford him. Like, he's just a really good card. If you can make Link, you should be making Borload. Nightmare Griffin, or Unicorn, I apologize. I don't run Nightmare or Griffin. Well, I keep confusing them. But I don't run the Griffin because, hypothetically, looking at all my spells, I don't care for setting the Fossil Dig again. I don't really care for setting the Evolution build because, I mean, like, I can always get that back. I mean, I guess the Call by the Grave is great. The Monster Reborn or Foolish Burial is great. I don't really care for Allure of Darkness. And the Shaddoll Fusions can recurse themselves. So, Unicorn in that aspect was already wiped. And secondly, it's really hard to make Link 4s in this deck. So it was like, I don't really need it. So, of course, we run the Cerebus and the Phoenix. There's just really good spot removal. One Nightmare Mermaid. No, we don't play the Ibly. But just the fact that our opponent will Ibly us. There are some times where our opponent goes blind Ibly, and we're like, whoa, I can't do anything. So you just use the Ibly to make the Nightmare Mermaid, and then you can, you know, pop off with your plays. There's actually a couple of times when your opponent will not extra link you, but make the Griffin and give you the Ibly. And then you make the Nightmare Mermaid, and now your Mermaid can point to a monster and make it link so you can gain its effects. One Underclock Taker. This card is just really nutty good in this deck. Really good link too. One Link Karibo. This is actually our target for our Jurrac Aeolo because it's a level 1 and Jurrac Aeolo is a level 1. It's just a really, really solid card. For the fusion monsters, 2 copies of Shaddoll Winda. Man, if you open with this card, your opponent might just have a problem. Mainly because, again, it can't be destroyed. It doesn't have the greatest attack in the world, but it can be destroyed by card effects. So you pair this with a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno on your turn 1. Your opponent can't special summon. Your opponent can't destroy this guy by card effects. And if they enter battle, you have a possibility of being able to flip those monsters face down. So, man, it's good. It's just good. I guess you could say this card takes my breath away. Get it? Winda takes my breath away. All right. Anyways, one copy of Sheki Naga. He comes up a lot actually. This card's really busted. By negating the special summon monster, and all you have to do is send a Shaddoll monster from the hand to the graveyard, it does trigger that Shaddoll monster's effect. But just the fact that it's Earth and we can send cards like the Dino, I'm sorry, Giant Rex to the graveyard to summon him, and it does provide some useful effects, and it's a target for Ghost Bell as well. Grista comes up a lot, and it comes up a lot for a couple of reasons. First of all, so Grista, when you summon Grista, you can send Miscellaneousaurous, and there's a little nasty combo with Miscellaneousaurous. You Shaddoll Fusion or El Shaddoll Fusion, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You summon Grista, and you send the Miscellaneousaurus to banish itself. You can spell summon an Aeolo, and then you can synchro summon with the Grista and an Aeolo into a level 8. So that's there, but this card actually stops Link summons, it stops synchro summons, it stops Exceed summons. It's a pretty powerful card. One Lagio, one Dalka. You won't make these a lot, but when you do, it's pretty impactful. One Dweller, because that's the next best link for it. I mean, coincidentally, if you guys really wanted to, you can drop these and play Ghost Reaper targets for your budget option. You can drop the Ash, the Ogre, the Ash and the Bells. You can play 3 Winter Cherries and then 3 Drolls or 3 Mistaken Arrest, and then that's basically a budget version. I just told you guys a budget version. I'm gonna put budget in this deck profile because now I just gave you guys a very good budget version. The only reason why I decided not to play the Winter Cherries is because I want my opponent to spell summon from the extra deck. There's not a single monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now that can shadow this deck. Get it? Copy it? Alright, anyways, I'll stop with the puns. But there's not a single deck that can shadow this deck. I'm going to keep on with the puns. And I feel like no matter what extra deck monster you can make, you're just going to make me a Shaddoll Fusion target. So it didn't really matter to make the Winter Cherries. And then the Omega, because like I said, for the sneaky combo with Grista, you can banish to summon Omega. I'm pretty sure, I kind of have to read this card every single time just to make sure it's 7, because the combo is so good. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, I swear, I have to count it every freaking time because the combo is that good. And Omega is just the best Synchro 8 in the game right now. Without so many restrictions, because other than that, it would be Crystal Wing. And it allows you to shuffle all these guys back into your deck, or any cards that you need back into your deck for a refill. So, that's it for the extra deck. I really enjoyed this extra deck. Again, if you guys really wanted to, Omega's a droppable card, Dweller's a droppable card, and these 2 are droppable cards. I'd immediately drop the Dweller. If you guys don't see like Goki or whatever in your area, and then just play something else. You guys can play Winter Cherry target. You can do whatever you want, to be honest. But that's it for the extra deck. Now I'm going to show you guys the sideboard and why I play certain sideboard cards. So, basically, knowledge is power, but if you dino what your opponent is talking about, then you just might win the game, because sometimes ignorance is bliss. Get it? Dino Knowledge is okay. I think that was a punny as hell. So I do play 1/1 of the rest of the hand traps. Effect Veiler is a really good substitute. If you guys already have Effect Veilers and Mistaken Arrest in the side deck, one card that I did really miss out on was you can play Doggerin in the sideboard, you can play Kaijus, or you can play Sphere Mode, whatever you guys choose. For the people that are on a little bit of a budget. All right, the reason why I say a little bit of a budget because Shaddoll Fusions and Windows are pretty expensive. When you combine it all together. 2 copies of Twin Twisters. I wanted to run a third, but I really didn't need it. It's good against back row heavy decks. It's just good against clearing boards. The third, Called by the Grave. I expect them to play or side in those Ash Blossoms if they don't have it. I expect them to, if I'm going against a deck like Goki, I'm really relying on their hand traps and their graveyard presence. Really good. And then 3 copies of Shared Ride. The funniest thing about this card is that if I'm going against Sky Striker, they can't OTK me. They're just going to give me more advantage. And the most important thing is that they're going to leave a monster in the extra monster zone at the end of their combo. So I don't care about you plussing 9 because you're going to plus me as well. And then you're going to leave me a monster on the extra monster zone to allow me to start fusion summoning from my deck. So it's like, it's a win-win-win for me. Yes, you can Widow Anchor the Winda. Yes, you can. But that just means I can special summon too now. I was tempted to play Forbidden Lances for that specific reason because, then literally having Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, a Winda, and a Lance, just game over, bro. There's no winning that. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Again, I don't want my opponent to lose their monster. I want them to keep it, but I want to negate its effects. So keep that extra deck monster. And then 3 copies of Evenly Matched. If you guys can't afford the Impermanences or Evenly Matched, ooh, you guys took a lot out. Again, those Effect Veilers, those Kaijus, Mistaken Arrest, those are really good cards. Cursilla Forbidden Spell is not something I played in this deck, but I think you could get away with it. I know a lot of people on that video was like, oh, Imperial Order, Anti-Spell Fragrance. Like, nigga, you can't play those in this deck. Like, obviously. I mean, I guess you can get away with Imperial Order, but it's a one-of. But, thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. You guys are watching Anti-Meta Madness, decks that can compete with the meta. And if you guys want to see another deck that can compete with the meta, go ahead and drop this video a like. Let's try to get those 200 like mark, guys. Really excited to see you guys. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having another great day like I am. I'm going to go play some Overwatch. And let's hope I'm out of silver by the end of this day.